Agora falamos da embaixadora dos Estados Unidos para a ONU, a linda Thomas-Greenfield, que disse que o Brasil deve incluir a Ucrânia em qualquer esforço de paz para acabar com a guerra. Em visita aqui no Brasil, ela conversou com a analista Basília Rodrigues e pediu que o Brasil se mantenha neutro nas negociações. Vamos ouvir.
We expressed our disappointment with the president's statement, and I also made that clear during all of my meetings here in Brazil. But that said, you know, the disappointment was based on the fact that we know that Brazil is a strong democracy. Brazil voted to condemn Russia's invasion. Brazil voted to condemn Russia's annexation, and they supported the resolution passed in February asking to support peace in Ukraine. And so we know where Brazil stands on these issues, and what we have said is if they are to play a role as a mediator, they have to be neutral. And they have to be in conversations with both sides. So during my meetings, I encouraged that Brazil engage with the government of Ukraine. I understand that there are some plans for a visit to Ukraine and that they will be following up on those discussions. But let me be clear about one thing. Russia cannot be rewarded for their invasion of Ukraine, and no discussions about Ukraine can take place without Ukraine. President Biden has said over and over, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. And that's the position that we stand firmly on. We encourage all countries who are seeking a peaceful path forward for the situation in Ukraine to engage. We support diplomacy. So we're not discouraging Brazil. We're just encouraging that they be neutral in this effort, that they engage with both sides, and we encourage their efforts.
Yes, Ambassador, I really appreciate your time, and I have some words, some questions here. Do you think Russia will feel the pressure to stop the war? And is it an unprovoked conflict or not? So I mean, who is right in the end, Russia or Ukraine? Is there a correct side?
There is a correct side. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia put 100,000 troops on the border with Ukraine. They threatened Ukraine, and then they moved those troops into Ukraine. Ukraine did not attack Russia. Ukraine is not inside of Russia. Russia is inside of Ukraine, and Russia has been condemned by more than 140 countries in the United Nations for their unprovoked attack on Ukraine. And that's what we have to remember. It is an attack on Ukraine. It's an attack on the very values of the UN Charter that we all hold dear. So our message to Brazil is any efforts toward negotiation has to be based in the Charter. It has to be based on the values of the UN Charter, which is the protection of the sovereignty of countries and the integrity of their borders.